Stephanie Williams, known to the world by her stage name Medikk, was more than just a rising dancehall star. She was a daughter, a friend, a dreamer, and an artist whose life was filled with promise. But her story is also one of tragedy, one that shook Jamaica to its core, leaving behind unanswered questions, painful memories, and a legacy that refuses to fade. Stephanie was born in Jamaica in the early 1990s. From the very beginning, music seemed to run through her veins. As a child, she would sing while helping her mother with chores, and she often gathered her siblings and cousins to put on little concerts in their living room. Her teachers described her as bright, determined, and full of energy. She wasn't only a student of academics, but also of music. Growing up in Kingston wasn't easy. The city was vibrant and full of culture, but it was also tough, marked by crime and economic hardship. Many young people lost their way, but Stephanie had a gift and a vision for herself. By her teenage years, she was already writing her own lyrics, creating rhymes out of her everyday experiences, and dreaming of one day performing on the biggest stages. When she chose the name Medikk, she did so with intention. For her, music was medicine. It could heal, it could uplift, and it could provide comfort in hard times. She wanted her songs to serve as that kind of medicine for her listeners. The name captured her belief that music could be both entertainment and healing. Breaking into the Jamaican dancehall industry was no small task. It was competitive, loud, and often dominated by men. Yet Medikk refused to be overshadowed. Her lyrics were bold, her delivery was sharp, and her stage presence was magnetic. She performed at community shows, appeared at small events, and slowly climbed her way onto larger platforms. As her confidence grew, so did her following. Her songs began playing on local radio stations. Social media helped her reach fans far beyond her neighborhood. Soon, she was recognized as one of dancehall's most promising female. She wasn't at the very top yet, but many believed her career was heading in that direction. She had the drive, the look, and the determination to make it all the way. Off stage, however, Stephanie was known to be grounded, soft-spoken, and deeply connected to her family. To her loved ones, she wasn't just a performer. She was a sister, a daughter, and a friend who still made time for the people who mattered most. This duality, confident and fearless on stage, but warm and humble in private, was part of what made her so loved. But in late 2022, her story took a devastating turn. On a quiet evening in Kingston, news broke that Stephanie Williams had been found unresponsive under suspicious circumstances. The shock was immediate and overwhelming. The rising star, just in her 20s, was suddenly gone. Police rushed to the scene, and detectives from the Jamaica Constabulary Force treated the case as a potential homicide. Forensic officers gathered evidence. They took photographs, collected DNA samples, and dusted for fingerprints. An autopsy conducted days later confirmed what many had already suspected. Stephanie's death was not an accident. Her body showed signs of trauma. Though officials withheld some details, reports suggested the possibility of blunt force injuries. Others whispered about strangulation. The exact details remained unclear, but one fact was undeniable. Her life had been violently taken. Investigators worked around the clock to reconstruct her final hours. They reviewed CCTV footage, analyzed her phone records, and interviewed people who had seen her that night. Friends reported that she had seemed tense in the days leading up to her death. Others mentioned conflicts in her personal life. Some speculated about rivalries in the music industry. But with each new lead came more questions than answers. As the investigation continued, Jamaica's media erupted. Her face was on every television screen. Headlines blared updates, sometimes accurate, sometimes sensationalized. Talk radio stations debated her death daily, with some framing it as a reflection of deeper issues in Jamaican society, especially the ongoing crisis of violence against women. On social media, tributes poured in. Fans flooded her Instagram with messages of love and grief. Hashtags like Justice for Medikk and Medikk Forever trended worldwide. But the internet also became a breeding ground for rumors. Some users pointed fingers at acquaintances. Others spun conspiracy theories about professional jealousy. The noise was deafening, and for her grieving family it was almost unbearable. Her mother, in a televised interview, broke down in tears, saying she was a light in our lives, a girl with so many dreams left unfinished. That raw pain reminded the public that Stephanie was more than a story. She was a human being with a family now left broken. The music community also felt the loss deeply. Fellow artists paid tribute on stage, dedicating songs and moments of silence in her honor. Candlelight vigils were held across Kingston, with fans gathering to sing her songs, light candles, and remember the young woman whose career had only just begun. But as weeks turned to months, frustration grew. The investigation dragged on with no arrests. Police insisted they were following strong leads, but the public began to lose faith. Activists raised concerns about Jamaica's justice system, pointing out how many cases involving violence against women go unresolved. Still, out of tragedy came something larger. Stephanie's death sparked a national conversation. Her story became a symbol of the dangers women face both in the music industry and in everyday life. Advocacy groups began using her case to push for stronger protections, better laws, and cultural change. Her family vowed to keep her memory alive. Plans for a foundation in her name were discussed, one that would support young female artists and victims of violence. If realized, it would ensure that Stephanie's dream of using music as medicine would live on, even if she could no longer perform it herself. Today, her songs continue to play. Fans stream her music not just to dance, but to remember. For many, listening to her voice is bittersweet. It hurts, but it also heals. Her art, just like she intended, remains medicine for the soul. Stephanie Medikk Williams's story is both inspiring and heartbreaking. She was a young woman full of promise taken too soon. Her life and death remind us of the beauty of ambition, the power of music, and the urgent need to confront the violence that robs so many lives. She may be gone, but her voice and her spirit will remain forever in the hearts of those who loved her and in the legacy she left behind.